Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and I'm a full-time reseller. So what are we doing in today's video? This one is going to be a little bit different than normal. We're not going to do a little thrift adventure where I sell stuff on eBay. We're not going to do some retail arbitrage where I'm selling on Amazon. Nope, this one is going to be just a tiny bit different. And I'm sitting next to my cat tower, if you can't tell. So if you see cats coming in or out, there's nothing I can do about that. No, today I'm going to go over my experience with doing a children's consignment resale event. Now, what is a children's consignment resale event? Basically, it's a pop-up put on by either a local company or a franchise that happens usually twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. The goal is to get people to consign their kids stuff, put it all on this big sale, and have people who want to buy kids stuff cheaply come to the sale and buy from it. You are responsible for prepping and pricing all of your items, and then you drop it off to the sale and hope that it sells within the weekend or so that it's going on. The main appeal as a seller is that you get the opportunity to sell a lot of your stuff quickly and easily. I wanted to get rid of a growing pile of outgrown kid stuff and also make a little bit of money doing it, like I wasn't attached to this stuff anymore. But also I wanted to do this to get data and knowledge and experience from doing it so that I could then put this video on for you and you can see what the process is like and if it's going to be worth it for you to do. By the end of this video, I want to have gained enough knowledge and experience from doing this sale to answer the following questions. Is doing a children's consignment resale event better than selling the stuff yourself on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, or at like a traditional consignment shop like Once Upon a Child? What kind of stuff sells best at these sales? What should I price my items at and what pricing strategy should I have? Will my stuff be stolen? Can resellers like me who sell stuff on eBay go to this sale and find stuff to make money on eBay with? And the big question, how much money do you actually stand to make? So I'm going to break this video down into a few sections. The first one is going to be all the pre-sale, getting ready for it, and then dropping the stuff off. The second part is going to be me shopping the sale as a buyer to see what the sale actually looks like from the perspective of a buyer, and also if I can find anything to sell on eBay. And the third, we're going to wrap it up and answer all of those questions that I just asked and a general summary of my experience and thoughts. So without further ado, let's roll it back to the beginning when I'm starting to prep stuff for the sale. Roll the intro. First thing you want to do is see what sales happen in your area. Kids consignment sales tend to happen twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. You can use Google, or you can try a website like Consignment Mommies to point you in the right direction. If you end up with multiples to choose from, try to look at pictures of their previous sales and pick whichever sale looks to be the largest and most popular. My choices were between the Big Red Wagon, which is a local company, or Rhea Lana, which is a national franchise. The Big Red Wagon was clearly the bigger, more popular sale compared to the Rhea Lana sale, so it made my choice easy. I originally planned to do this in October, but when I finally looked into it, the sale was going on that week, so rather than rush, I decided to wait 6 months for the next one. So I started putting things aside, and by March, this is what my pile looked like. Some toys and some outgrown clothes. Once you've chosen your sale company, read through their information sheets on what % of sales you get to keep and what they do and don't accept, since you don't want to waste time putting stuff aside that they're not going to let you sell. I was surprised to see mine did not want stuffed animals that were not battery operated, so I didn't add any to my pile. But we're going to circle back to that point later after the sale. I decided I would take one weekend to do toys and one weekend to do clothing. I started with toys, separating them into sellable lots and bagging them up. I also sorted out anything I could actually sell on eBay instead for more money. Light up Paw Patrol pups are almost always worth selling on eBay. I sorted out and sold this Marshall by himself for $13 with a net profit of $6.73. And apparently Apollo is also worth selling by himself. So do take a little time to check prices on eBay to make sure you don't let something valuable go for far less than it's worth. You'd be surprised what random toys end up becoming valuable. I found these pirate pup boats for $1.50 at the thrift and sold them on eBay $20 for the pair. But most of the toys I have are not worth selling on eBay in my opinion, and my goal for this stuff is to get it gone quickly, not maximize profits. I actually got all these pups for $10 at a thrift store a while back and my kid played with them for a little bit. I made full sets of the pups and I made those a sellable item. I gave each vehicle their own pup and I made those vehicles their own sellable item. I would stick to making sellable lots that make sense and not making huge grab bags of mixed items. Most of the stuff I was selling didn't require much thought as to making sellable lots because it came as a standard set already, like this picnic basket, which made it through 2 kids in almost 10 years and I only lost a single cup. My sale recommends using Ziploc bags for toys, and I quickly ran out. Then I realized, hey stupid, you're a reseller. You have poly bags aplenty. So I switched to using those instead. With toys all bagged, the following weekend I worked on clothes, but that required supplies that I didn't have, namely kid hangers, safety pins, and cardstock. If you're really on the ball, you'll have prepared and found hangers for free or cheap, like this bag of kid hangers I found at the Goodwill bins, after the consignment sale had already ended. I found that Walmart had the cheapest kid hangers, and by my count I would need at least 90. Don't be fooled though, I initially grabbed this 30 count box for $5.47, but I found packs of 10 for $1.48, which comes out to $4.44 for 30. It's cheaper to buy the 10 packs. I also grabbed safety pins while I was there. I emptied out my bag of clothes and sorted them by type. I also sorted out anything stained or had a hole, or in some cases a stain and a hole. Once I had my piles, I decided to enter everything, including the toys, into the tagging system. This is where you enter an item title, categorize it, and pick a price. I decided on $1 a piece for clothing. I tend to buy clothing when it's cheap anyway, and a lot of this stuff was gotten off season on clearance, and it has been through 2 kids, so I'm not delusional about what it's worth. You can find brand new t-shirts for $6, and my local Goodwill has pretty low prices on kids' clothes. My goal is to get it gone and just be happy with any earnings. We'll see how that strategy plays out. Then you just put on something to watch and get to hanging. The shirts are pretty straightforward, but the pants require special safety pinning to the top of the hanger. Most of my pins were not fat enough, which made the job a little harder. Once everything is ready, the last step is printing the tags for everything you entered in the system. You print them out on cardstock because it's thicker and less likely to tear, and then you cut them out. You'll tape the tags to your toy bags and large items and pin them directly to your hung items. Here's a shot of everything I scrounged up, all finished and ready to head to item drop-off. I ended up with 154 items total. Another thing to consider is how you're going to move all the stuff to the sale in the first place. I ended up using my husband's Jeep because it had a little more cargo room. Changed my coat before I headed out because it got kind of warm. But like, oh my gosh, there's so many people here at the drop-off. Not a competition, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But if there's this many people selling, hopefully there's a lot of people buying. I guess I shouldn't have been, but I was surprised by the number of people who had U-Hauls and trailers full of stuff. I brought my clothing in first. They had plenty of Z-racks to put your clothes on, and you had the option of putting your own clothes away. So I decided to do that so I could get a little lay of the land and see what everything looked like. So since I'm allowed to put my own clothes away, I am putting all of my shorts with all of my tank tops. So, cool, right? Alright, I just got done putting my stuff away. Don't mind that I'm like all the way over here. I'm just trying to get out of this sun ray. So my first impression was, wow, that's nuts. Because there's no distinction between who's working here and who's just like getting their stuff ready and like putting it where it needs to go. Because if you need help, you don't know who to ask for help. Anyway, they made the process fairly simple, I'd say. If you had clothes that were bundled, they were happy about that because then you could just put it on a Z-rack. And if you put your own Z-rack of clothing away on the sales floor, they would give you $5 to spend at the sale plus another $5 if you had your clothing pre-bundled. So I got $10 to spend at the sale because I had pre-bundled by clothing by size, and I opted to put it on my own rack and then put it away on the sales floor by size. So that was cool. I know that all of my clothing is on the sales floor now. The thing is, with everything else, all of my bag toys and whatnot, the process is you just grab, they have stacks of laundry baskets.
and you put your stuff in the laundry baskets. Just throw it in the laundry baskets. And they said eventually someone who works here will be by to grab a laundry basket and sort it into the bins in the sale. So I felt kind of weird just putting my stuff in these laundry baskets and then just like leaving them there and walking away, because there was no worker nearby. And for all I know, my stuff could just be sitting there forever. And with that, you know, it's kind of the honor system. Nobody's going to stop somebody else if they walk out with an item, because nobody knows who's brought what, you know? So that's a little sketchy. Like I said, I'm interested in getting data from this process. So I am really interested to see if any of my stuff goes missing or gets stolen, because that's a real thing that can happen with these kind of sales. There's no security. There's nobody doing loss prevention. Your stuff could potentially get stolen. And my last impression was, wow, I might have underpriced literally everything, because I didn't want to like be snooping too hard, because I didn't want the workers to be like, no shopping, get out of here. I wasn't shopping, I was just trying to like see what other people had priced stuff in the sizes where I was putting my clothing away. And I couldn't find another piece of clothing that was $1. I priced all of my clothing at $1 and all of my pajama sets at $2 because there's 2 pieces. Most people were pricing their stuff at $2.50 to $7, you know, per shirt. So I was like, wow. So all of my clothing should sell. Definitely. They're gonna get a good deal on my clothes. Whoever needs 4T, 5T stuff is gonna get a great deal. But like I said, this wasn't like me trying to make a lot of money. It was just wanting to get rid of stuff quickly and also like, you know, recoup a little bit of money, because like I don't look at the stuff my kids use, like clothing and toys, as an investment. You know, this is just necessary stuff. If I get any money back out of it, that's great. And also, like, the economy is crap right now, okay? And we could all use a deal on stuff that is required. Like, you need clothing. You can't be out here naked. So if I'm giving somebody a great deal on kids' clothes, I don't mind that. I'm fine with that. So I'm very optimistic. I'm pretty sure 100% of my clothing will sell. If it doesn't, I will be shocked. As for toys, I guess it's just going to depend, but I'm optimistic about that too. I think if I sell 75% of everything I brought in, that'll be great. If I sell 100%, I will be very surprised. But elated, obviously. So, you know, fingers crossed, but I get to come back on Wednesday for the preview seller, the sellers and VIP preview sale. I did see somebody selling a PlayStation 3. There was bags of video games. I didn't want to poke around too much and get yelled at by the people working here. But there is some interesting stuff being listed for sale. So hopefully I can come in on Wednesday and find some good deals for myself to sell.
So come back on Wednesday we did for the sellers and VIP preview sale. And for it just being preview night, it was still super busy. First stop was the PS3 I saw at drop-off. It was $50, but unfortunately not the backwards compatible version shown on the box, which is worth a lot more money. My husband still picked it up though. I also found my first score at the video game table, an Xbox One Skylanders portal. Most portals are not worth much, but the Xbox One version is. I sold it for $70. Was hoping to find some good dolls, but not a single Monster High to be had. I actually overheard a man telling someone he was bummed there were no Monster High, and I was like, dang, okay, it's really gonna be like that for Monster High now, huh? I turned around and saw a bunch of my clothes piled on top of someone's wagon, an excellent sign. That made me want to check in on some of my toys and see how they were doing. Some had identical competition, like my Daniel Tiger trolley for $6. Some others were asking $12.50, and someone had it priced the same as mine. My Dancing Blue was $10.50, and a competitor was asking $20. I had my Paw Patrol toys priced right around the norm too, so it looks like I have my toys priced competitively. One thing became readily apparent. Those rules about what you could and couldn't sell, just formalities, I guess. There were tons of odd items like these loose phone cases and plenty of non-battery operated plush toys. I could have entered so many more things that I kept out because I thought I had to. So I guess if you want to sell it, try selling it. The worst they can say is no, and it doesn't look like they said no to much. I ended up finding a few more items to sell on eBay, some Jurassic Park dinos, one of which is worth about 50 bucks. My husband scooped all the cheap video games and the PlayStation 3. So if nothing else, being a seller just to get into the pre-sale was definitely worth it. The line to check out was probably the worst part, but look at all the people buying stuff. It's a positive. We came back on Sunday to see if there was anything good to scoop on half off day. As a seller, you aren't required to have your stuff be half off. You can opt in any piece when you're inputting the items into the system before printing and tagging. At my sale, anything with reduce on the tag is half off the final day of the sale. I opted almost everything of mine into the half off sale because again, I was hoping to get rid of it. I spotted a few of my items still lingering, mostly Christmas pajamas, and I tried to move them to the front of the racks in a desperate attempt to get them sold. I had my son's cat pajamas in with the boy stuff originally, but even though I'm pretty progressive about pink cat pajamas on boys, some people aren't, so I moved them to the girls section to see if they'd fare better over there. That's something to keep in mind. Merchandise where it'll sell best, not where you think it should be. They also had my Thomas rattles in with the big kid Thomas toys. I felt they'd fare better in with the baby toys, so I moved them over there. It's your stuff. If you want to merchandise it better, do it. I tried to see a sampling of what was still left and try to understand why it hadn't sold. It looks like if you're selling vehicles, they'll need to be at rock bottom prices to move. Some things were just priced too high, like these pretty used $10 jammy sets. And Christmas anything was a tough sell going into spring. A lot of the women's clothing was still here. It wasn't sorted very well, making it hard to shop from, so I'm sure that was a factor. Some stuff was just too far gone and shouldn't be for sale in the first place, like these black shoes. There were some winners, like every single Lego item that was here on preview day was gone. And some losers like these $5 Beanie Babies. Come on, what were you thinking? I found one more item to sell, this Club Penguin Puffle plush with the tag. These seem to be all over the place when it comes to comps, but I saw this exact one sell without the tag for $70. I don't know if it's a fluke, but this guy was only $1.25, so we'll find out. And with that, the sale came to a close, so enough about what I bought, let's talk about what I sold. By the end of the preview sale, I had sold 77 of my 154 items, so exactly 50%. Half my stuff sold before we were even open to the public. That's a great sign. Opening day, which was a Thursday, I sold an additional 26 items. On day 2, I sold 14 more. Day 3 was my worst day, I only sold 8 things. And on the final half off day, I sold 16 items. That brought my final total to 141 items sold out of 154, which is a sell-through rate of 91.5%. But what about the 13 items that didn't sell? Were any of them stolen? We'll have to go to item pickup and find out.
All right, so I am here on pickup day. It seems like I'm supposed to be getting back 14 items. I don't think I'm gonna get back 14 items though, because some of those items, like the tank top that I know I'm missing and a long sleeve shirt that I know is missing, all of that other stuff sold on the preview day. So it would be very odd for this one tank top to have not sold at all and come back to me. So my guess is some of this stuff has been stolen, either deliberately or just accidentally not rung. So I don't know, let's go see.
I kind of enjoyed this passive-aggressive note, like, don't come find me with your highlighted list, just accept that you're SOL. I also find it funny that anything would be pulled for QC. I mean, I showed you a pair of shoes that were falling apart on the sales floor, but okay. I headed over to my number on the table and I see some familiar faces. And some unfamiliar faces. I'm glad I didn't just grab my pile and leave because look at this. I'm 4164. They mixed in what looks to be all of 4166 into mine. So I nicely sorted all their stuff out and took it to their place on the table. I hope they hadn't come already and left seeing their spot empty. I took one look at the monster pile of unsorted, lost, and rejected pieces and said, you know what? Not worth my time. Not worth my time, no thanks. But it did give me a great data point. If I would have used oddly colored hangers or literally anything other than white, it would make the job of skimming the pile for your stuff much easier. I wanted to go around and see what kind of stuff was being returned, meaning it didn't sell. Christmas was a big one. I saw a lot of Christmas stuff. Also, long sleeves and footy pajamas didn't fare so well. This being a spring sale, it makes sense that tees, tanks, and shorts would be the hot commodity. A lot of women's clothing was coming back as well. Some people had really small piles, others had really big piles. Makes you wonder how much they sold versus how much they entered.
All right, I got my checklist here. So I'm gonna go through the things that I got back and see what I didn't get back. First thing was Leapfrog cash register with coins and food, got that back. Thomas the Tank Engine mini trains and playmat, that's gone. Daniel Tiger Deluxe talking trolley toy, gone. Thomas the Tank Engine spinning wheel rattles, got those back. 4-piece Hot Wheels Monster Trucks and Crushable car, did not get that back. Paw Patrol Chase tank top, we both knew that one was coming back. Gabby's Dollhouse t-shirt, got that back. That's definitely in here somewhere. Got it. Blue's Clues long sleeve shirt, yup, I definitely got that one back. Santa face long sleeve shirt, got that back. Astronaut and Stars long sleeve shirt, yep, got that one back too. Again, I don't know why this one wouldn't have sold. There's nothing wrong with it, and it would have been like 50 cents on the last day. It was probably merchandised in, like when people pick something up and then they decide they don't want it and they put it back somewhere weird, that could affect it not selling as well. Carter's pumpkin face long sleeve shirt, yep, got that one. Carter's Santa's Little Helper pajama sets. Oh jeez, it's all in here. Yep, that's the right one. And then Paw Patrol winter hat. Yep, got that one back. So overall, I am missing some stuff. I'll add it all up when I get home and we'll circle back to this.
So now that the sale is over, I have my check, I have my data, I have my experience, I can go back and answer those questions that we asked at the beginning of the video. The first one was, is doing a children's consignment resale event better than selling your kids' stuff on Facebook Marketplace or on eBay? My answer is a resounding yes. While I did pull some of my kids' stuff to sell on eBay because it ended up being worth enough money to do that, the majority of my stuff is little piddly toys that aren't really worth doing that with. Because if I was to list the stuff for the same prices or a little more than I sold them for at the sale, I would be eaten alive by shipping and eBay fees. Because not everything is worth selling on eBay, not everything is marketable on eBay. So, and also I wanted to get rid of this stuff quickly. And if you list something on eBay, you don't really know exactly when it's gonna sell. Whereas if you do an event like this, you know that it's either gonna sell this weekend or it's gonna come back to you. You can visualize it like a line. On one side, we have the most money you can make, but a slow sale. On the other hand, you have less money you can make, but a fast sale. I was firmly at this end. I did not want to sit on this stuff any longer to try and realize more profits out of it. I was ready for it to be gone and accept any amount of money. Is this better specifically than just sort of putting all of your 3T clothes or whatever and saying, here's my 3T boys clothes. Here's the price. You have to buy it all. Come and get it. I'd say it's about equal. Because when I was selling my stuff on Facebook Marketplace, that's how I used to do it. I used to be like, here's all of my 3T boys t-shirts and shorts. Here's all my 3T boys long sleeves and pants. You know, in sort of a lot. And I would take a nice picture of the items folded. You know, it wasn't just like a garbage bag of stuff like I see some people sell on Facebook Marketplace. Like, here's my garbage bag of kids' clothes. Come and get it. You know, I'd put a little bit of effort into it. But when I did it that way, I would usually see like, I have 25 items. And then I'd price it at $12.50 because I was hoping to get like 50 cents per piece. Doing the kids consignment sale, if I price something at $1, I make 60 cents. So technically I'm making a little bit extra per piece than I would have if I had priced it on Facebook Marketplace. Because trying to get $1 a piece, like $25 for a lot of 25 kids clothes in my area on Facebook Marketplace it's hard. Like, I personally hate Facebook Marketplace because I live in a small town and nobody wants to drive in here unless you're basically giving this stuff away for free. I see people on Instagram, I follow some people who sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace or are just trying to get rid of their personal stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and they have a completely different relationship with it because it actually seems to work for them. Like, maybe they live in a bigger town, maybe they live in a different sort of economic area where people are more interested in Facebook Marketplace. It just doesn't work the same way in my area, and I don't think it works the same way everywhere. And I actually had several of the pieces I put in the sale listed on Facebook Marketplace for over a year and could not get a buyer. I was literally selling my umbrella stroller for 10 bucks on Facebook Marketplace. 10 bucks. I'm pretty sure I got this stroller for free when Babies R Us was still open. They used to have sales where, like, you spend X amount of dollars, you get a free umbrella stroller. So I was like, 10 bucks, umbrella stroller. It's basically unused. Couldn't get a single bite on it. It was ridiculous. I priced it at $8 in the sale, of which I would make 60%. It sold in the first day. And several items I had for sale in the sale, like this Lakeshore Learning magnetic marble maze that I got at a Goodwill for like $5. It's really heavy and kind of big, so I didn't put it on eBay because I didn't want to ship it because it was going to cost a lot of money. So I had it on Marketplace for 20 bucks. If you wanted to buy it brand new, it's like $50 or $60. So 20 bucks is a good deal, or 25 bucks, I should say. Again, no bites, nobody wanted it. I put it for $20 in the sale, it sold the first day. So even though if I would have sold it on Facebook Marketplace for $25, I would have gotten the whole $25. And I only got 60% of that $20. But the fact is, it still sold. I've been waiting for that $25 and I didn't get it. So I accepted less to get it gone faster. The process of being able to price it and sort of throw it into a sale and hope that somebody takes it is far more appealing to me in general than playing the Facebook Marketplace game. I've also tried Once Upon a Child several times in the past. I will spend time like neatly folding my items, like making it look really crisp and good, putting it in a basket, and just giving it to them. At most, they buy like 5 to 6 pieces, and I make like $4. And I don't live close to one. I have to drive like a half hour to get there. The process of putting all the clothes nicely in the basket and driving over there to maybe make a few bucks, in my opinion, was not worth it. If I was taking the same stuff from the sale to Once Upon a Child, I guarantee they would have only bought a few pieces and I would have been left with this whole basket of stuff. Whereas pricing it and putting it in the sale, I sold almost all of it. So in my opinion, selling on eBay for most kids' clothes is not worth it. Selling on Facebook Marketplace, it's the most worth it of the choices, but I still personally prefer the sale because then I don't have to deal with anyone. And Once Upon a Child, I find it's definitely a better choice than that. The second question was, what kind of stuff sells best at the sale? As we saw, it seems to depend on what season the sale is in. If you're going into a spring sale, if you've got t-shirts and shorts, you know, you've got money on your hands. The stuff that is for the opposite sale, in my case, the Christmas stuff did not sell very well. The long sleeve shirts, the footy pajamas, you know, the winter, the very classical winter kind of stuff, and the winter hat didn't sell. But even so, I still sold most of my long sleeve shirts. So if you have it priced right, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. And I did enter 3 Halloween costumes and I sold all of them. Women's clothing also seemed like it wasn't a very popular thing to be buying at the sale. Surprisingly, all of my toys sold really well too. My Paw Patrol stuff sold really well, my Daniel Tiger stuff sold pretty well, my Blue's Clues stuff sold pretty well, and basically everything that I put in sold. I think what helped with that, besides my pricing, which I'll get to, is when you make the tag, a lot of people were super lazy with this. They would just be like Hot Wheels cars, blue truck. Like, use that space like you would in an eBay title. You know, it shouldn't just be Hot Wheels. It should be 8 Hot Wheels monster trucks with crushable car. If it's a toy that comes with all the pieces, definitely put like 100% complete in the title. So when somebody's looking at it, they'll be like, oh, it's complete. You know, like really really use the space to describe what's in the bag, because in my case the toys were usually in bags and it wasn't always easy to see what it was. So use that space to like really describe and make it appealing to whoever might buy it. But really, as we saw with the sale, there was a lot of stuff there that I wouldn't have expected to be there. So like if you want it gone, just price it and throw it in the sale. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Well, in this case, we know that the worst that can happen is that it might not come back to you. The third question was, what should you price the stuff at and what should your pricing strategy be? I personally, if we're looking at that line again, I personally went with the low price, fast sale strategy. I priced my stuff fairly upfront versus doing that thing where you price it kind of high and then on half off day, like that's the real price you wanted it to sell at. That's a super common pitfall. I could see a lot of people like looking at that and thinking it's a viable strategy, but here's why I recommend against it. The half off day is just one day. So yeah, you have like 3 days or so where somebody could see your item and like really want it and pay full price. But if you're asking $10 for something that you really think somebody's only going to buy at $5, then you only have that one day, that one single day to find a buyer for it versus the entirety of the sale. So because I think you want the most chances to sell the item and shouldn't be focusing on wanting an extreme amount of money for something, I would suggest definitely pricing it at the fair price up front. If you want the stuff definitely gone, opt into the half off day, and if it sells on half off day for less money than you wanted, you're still making money, right? I do think I messed up with my clothing pricing strategy though. I went way too low. I couldn't see anybody else selling their stuff for $1. I mean, it worked because I sold most of it, but I do think I left money on the table. If I were doing it again, I would price my in-season clothing at $2.50 with a half off day reduce, and I would price everything else at $1.50. So I wouldn't have priced anything really at $1 unless it's like a hat or something, like something small. I definitely think I could have done $1.50 to $2.50 per piece and not just a flat $1 price for everything. But I'm still happy that I made money on my clothes. And I also got to give a great deal to people who needed clothes, so it was a win-win situation. I think I've mentioned this a few times before, or maybe I haven't ever mentioned it at all, but the deal in Cosmic Deal Heather isn't just the deals I get, it's the deals that I give. You're free to price your items however you want. I'm just saying, if you want the stuff gone, be realistic with the price. Number 4 was, will my stuff be stolen? And the answer is yes. At least in my case. I lost 4 of my items out of 154, which is 2.5%. When I added up what those 4 items would have brought me in commission, it would have been $13.50. So while I lost the items, what I'm more upset about is the potential commission that I lost off them, which is $13.50. Oddly enough though, during the first day of the sale, an item was added to my inventory, number 165, which I wouldn't have because my stuff stopped at 154. I have no idea why that was. It's like maybe the tag was destroyed and they were like, this looks like number 4164, so we'll assign it to her. It wasn't mine though, I can tell you that much. And it was for an item that was $5.50. And the commission on that would be $3.30. So we can bring my total commission lost to $10.20 from $13.50. Again, not terrible, but like that's $10 I should have made, could have potentially made, or at least gotten my item back that I didn't get to. And there's no recourse for these things. When you sign up to be a seller, part of the sheet that you sign says that the sale is not responsible for lost or stolen or damaged items. You're basically just, it is what it is. So don't put anything in the sale that you can't bear to be not paid for or get back. But yes, it is very likely that you will come away with at least one item that disappears. Number 5 was, can resellers potentially make money at the sale as well? The answer is yes. I was able to find several things on preview day that I could buy at the sale at the sales prices and then turn around and sell for more money on eBay. Sellers and workers get first crack at the items. So from my perspective as an eBay reseller as well, I liked that I could get into the sale earlier than basically everyone but the workers themselves. The last question was, how much money did I make doing this? Was it worth it? Would I do it again? At my sale, the base commission was 60%. In my research, it looks like the sales go from 60% to 70% as a base commission rate typically. So mine was on the lower side of normal. And at my sale, and I'm assuming most sales, if you sign up to be a worker, you can potentially make a bigger commission on your sales. At mine, you could make up to 75% commission on your sales, but you had to donate, I think it was 20 to 24 hours of worker time. And for me, that's not worth it. I sold $387.50 worth of stuff. My 60% commission means I got $232.50 after everything was said and done. I feel that was worth the amount of time and energy I put into doing the sale. I really didn't think it was that difficult to get ready for. I had been squirreling the stuff away for the past 6 months in a corner, and then basically I just dragged it out, put the toys in a bag, put the clothes on a hanger, made my tags, taped the tags to the bags, pinned the tags to the clothes. A weekend for one, a weekend for the other, a few hours here and there. It wasn't that much time, and the reward of getting the stuff gone and making over $200 on it, in my opinion, it was well worth it. And we can't forget about the cost of not having to deal with Facebook Marketplace people. That is priceless. I got to do it from my home, sitting here in my chair, watching TV. It was really leisurely. It was not difficult. There was nothing about the process that I thought was very annoying or something I wouldn't want to do again. I do plan to sell again in the fall, especially just to get into the pre-sale. Even my husband was asking, when's the next sale? He enjoyed his time shopping there too. But for the next sale, I'm gonna take my knowledge that I learned this time around and price my clothing a little differently. And I'm going to use it to liquidate stuff that I consider eBay rejects. I buy a lot of toys and doll bags and stuff from the thrift for my eBay business. And some of the stuff I get, like a naked Barbie doll that doesn't really have any eBay value, I could, instead of donating those, which is what I used to do, I would take all the stuff from the toy bags that I didn't want, wasn't worth anything, and then just donate it back to the Goodwill. I could actually, put those in toy bags for the sale, or price my dolls at $1 a piece in the sale, and then recoup some of that money back. Yep, so overall, yes, I thought the sale was a great success. And I would do it again, and I recommend that if you're thinking about doing the sale, do the research to figure out which sale you want to do, how they do their commission structure, what kind of items they want you to sell versus what they don't want you to sell, even though, as we saw, you should just kind of try and put it in the sale anyway, and they're probably not going to say anything. And if you're a reseller, you can research these sales as well and see if maybe you can find some stuff to sell that's priced really low and ready to get out of here that somebody didn't realize is actually worth selling on eBay. So I hope you enjoyed this little departure from my regular videos. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. I release about one video a month that is reselling related. So if you hit subscribe, I will probably show up in your feed. If you want little bite-sized pieces of my content, you can follow me on Instagram. That's really my home base. I share stories about every other day where I'm showing my thrift finds and what I've been selling on eBay. So if you want to keep up with me that way, that's a really good way to do it. TikTok is about 50% reselling related and 50% stupid garbage. And since it did come up in my last video, I guess I should mention that I have a Twitter. That is 0% reselling related though. If you want just stupid tweets, it's there. If you found any value in this video or you're still here watching, leave me a like so I know. Now get out there, have fun, find something good, and give the kids consignment resale a try.